Greetings, all. Greetings from my little sanctuary in this, where I watch the afternoon sky and the birds. It's beautiful here, but I'm sure it's also beautiful where you are. Well, at least I hope that way. Today, I would like to encourage you to watch a couple of videos because it shows you a picture. It gives you a foundation for events that are taking place and about to take place on the African continent. 3 years ago, I started making videos, not even 3 years, it was more than that. I started making videos about Gambia when I saw the number of land scammers and even dealt with one myself because I just couldn't believe. I told myself, no, it couldn't be. People from diaspora would not do this to each other. So I went to talk to one of the people selling land, and guess what? People selling land in the middle of forest, no roads, in places where during the rainy season, the water's so deep you can't drive through it. These people were sending money to people to buy land, and people were buying land in places that virtually inaccessible during the rainy season. And then when the rainy season is gone, then you have sand. I mean, sand, you drive through it, your car tires sinking into the sand 8, 12 inches deep. I've seen people get stuck. Me, anywhere I go in Africa, anywhere I live, anywhere I bought a car, and that's not Gambia. Well, anyway, always bought 4-wheel drive to make sure I can get where I'm going. Because I knew what it was like to get from place to place. But a lot of Africans live in these conditions. They accept them and don't change them. They don't even complain to the government to change. You know, you have a village that 15, 20 kilometers from a highway, the nearest highway. And these people have to walk through, you know, I've seen pools, what I call lakes, where a gilly was stuck halfway to the seat. The water is at the seat level. The gilly trying to get to the village full of people and get stuck. And I got through with my 4-wheel drive because I know how to drive in conditions like that. But I started out with that. And I began to see something, when this war started in the Ukraine, I began to see something in Africa that, even though I really was hesitant to say anything about it, that eventually I had to find myself in a position where I had to decide, you know what? I can be silent like Africans, or I can say what needs to be said. And that's what I did. And I warned people, 3 years from now, the European is going to be coming back. When I say the European, Caucasian period from Europe, they're going to be coming back to Africa And look what's happening today. These two videos are going to tell you exactly what's happening. And in a way, it's going to give you the foundation of why it's happening. Stand by. Okay, the Africans, both the videos are by Africans now. They're made by Africans who are beginning to see and speak up about what's happening. The channels, as you can see, uplifting Africa. And right now it's got 369,000 views. So Africans are being able to pay attention. The leaders now, it's a different story. And I told you, they are waiting to, hoping that things go back. And in some cases, they're even assisting, helping the Caucasians to put things back to where it was. Okay, here we go.
Traore is a young man, hardworking man who is changing the nation of Burkina Faso. And this is a threat to the Western nation to see how this young man is trying to make sure that the people of Burkina Faso are not suffering. It has taken an attention to the youths of Africa to speak about this because we saw one general in the United States of America saying that Ibrahim Traore should be arrested. We want to send a good warning, a very, very tight warning, that we will not take any nonsense, any stupidity towards the president of Burkina Faso. This young man, when he came to power, the people of Burkina Faso are suffering. No water, no medical. Right now, as we are speaking, we can see how things are rolling out. Speed. The security apparatus in Burkina Faso is working. The intelligence is working. Why? Because this young man has passion to make sure that the people of Burkinabe are feeling the economic that this young man is bringing to their country.
Is there so much hate on Captain Ibrahim Traore from France and the West, irrespective of all the wonderful things he has been doing for his nation, Burkina Faso and Africa as a whole? Well, listen to this.
These are the three reasons they want to remove him by all means necessary. He removed a puppet president from office. He closed down all the French military bases in Burkina Faso and sent their soldiers back home. He changed the percentage of equity the Burkinabe government had in the mining companies in Burkina Faso.
Now, those are just few of the reasons. But after yet another failed attempt to take out our president, after shameless accusations from U.S. General Michael Langley, after Langley's suspicious visit to Ivory Coast, where whispers grow louder that France and the U.S. are still continuously plotting to either capture or eliminate Traoré, something unstoppable is happening. The youth of Africa are not sitting quietly anymore. They see through the lies. They recognize the enemies. One by one, city by city, village by village, a fire is catching. No amount of propaganda or intimidation can stop it. The West can scheme. The collaborators can conspire. But they will not break the spirit of a continent that has decided to fight. Inspire you first with what Wode Maya, one of Africa's most influential YouTubers, actually witnessed and shared in Burkina Faso while there.
What is really happening in Burkina Faso is a revolution that I believe that the entire continent of Africa can emulate. I mean, when you have a leader that really cares about his people, he makes sure that he delivers. Guess what? Will you believe if I tell you that the entire country of Burkina Faso could only boast of 3,000 kilometers paved road from independence till now? Will you believe me? Will you believe me? I mean, a country called Botswana could boast of 3,000 kilometers when the British left them. But the French left, a government came to power, say, that's a construction going on. A government came to power for over 27 years. How old is this country?
The country, the independence since 1960.
1960?
Yeah.
And the country could only boast of 3,000 kilometers per...
Kilometers, I'm telling you.
Is it true?
Yeah, it's true. As Wodimai was saying, since the independence up to today, we had just 3,000 something paved roads. But now, with the coming of Traoré, they are planning to pave 5,000 kilometers per year. This is insane. This is unbelievable.
How are they achieving that?
Yeah, they bought all the equipment because the government doesn't want anymore to let any company be in charge of this. So they bought all the equipment to do it by itself.
Anyway, I want you to go see that video for yourself. While I'm smiling, you gotta really. I told you the other day that African leaders are staying silent about all of this. And I'm not surprised because I know them. You know, you who listen to my videos in the diaspora also know them. Burkina Faso, you see all the equipment that they're using there, paving the roads. And the road paving is not the only thing that they're doing. It's surprising that without loans from the IMF, World Bank, and everybody else, Burkina Faso is doing this. The other day, the king, or whatever they call him, from Saudi Arabia, decided that he wanted to inhibit the progress in Burkina Faso. We all know the situation with Saudi Arabia. They're the financiers behind all of the so-called terrorists around the world. All the little organizations that people claim to be fighting in Iraq and everywhere else in the Middle East are paid for by the Saudi royal, the sons of King Saud. And it's not just Saudi Arabia, it's UAE and all the rest of the sons from all the rest of the sons, you know. All the sons were given these little emirates to rule over by the British, French, and all the European, all the Caucasian nations. Divided up that area. But Saudi came in and said, we will build you mosques, not build you roads, not give you money to build clinics. Well, not give, but build clinics, build hospitals, give you money to buy machinery so you can farm the land, grow your own food. None of that. We want to build mosques. Guess what comes out? That's how Syria is overthrown. In every mosque, the words were spreading, creating little cells. And one day, boom, the Israelis overthrew, the Israelis and the Turks actually, overthrew the government of Syria. UAE financed it, Saudi financed it. UAE is financing terrorism all over North Africa, all over West Africa, into what they call sub-Saharan Africa. All those nations. And the funny thing is, Traore is a Muslim. He believes in the Saudi-run organization. All over Africa. Hunger, starvation, war created by these people. Let's look at the other video.
A shocking video recently surfaced showing the president of the European Commission boldly suggesting that Europe must approach the Sahel region the same way it did Ukraine, through a so-called liberation effort. She openly called on European nations to rally behind France and intervene in the Sahel, especially against Captain Ibrahim Traore and the AES alliance. Even more concerning, she proposed collaborating with the African Union, AU, to legitimize this move.
Think about the Sahel region, one of the poorest, yet fastest growing demographically. The succession of military coups will make the region more unstable for years ahead. Russia is both influencing and benefiting from the crisis, and the region has become fertile ground to the rise of terrorism. This is of direct concern for Europe, for our security and our prosperity. So we need to show the same unity of purpose towards Africa as we have shown towards Ukraine. This is a must.
You hear that, right? Unity of purpose, our security. And what else did she say is at risk? All of the resources. When France loses the resources that France used to get the resources from Africa for almost free. Turn around and sell it to his fellow EU nations, making all the money that France needed to survive. The EU nations were buying all the resources from Africa at below market. Please listen to the video and go back and listen to go back and research what the EU was doing to Africa before the war in Ukraine began. And notice all of the events that took place that caused the EU to find itself in a position now where it has to come back to Africa. Either it's going to come back with the military or it's going to come back to negotiate. And when it comes back to negotiate now, if they negotiate without, well, we know they're going to threaten and all that. If they negotiate, they shouldn't be able to negotiate it with the current leaders that are in power today. African youth have to replace them. Bring diasporans into the negotiations. If you do not do it, you'll be in a position just like the one from Kenya was in, where the youth rose up against him, and in order to quell the rebellion, he offered to send all of them to Germany. A whole generation of people who are needed in Kenya to build everything from the coming space development. Trained engineers, nurses, and doctors that are leaving Kenya so that the old wicked leadership can stay in place. And the youth are so, I don't know what word to use. I know what word to use, but I'm not going to use it. That they accepted being sold into slavery. This shouldn't be happening. Then again, it is what it is. We have to live with reality. And I'm keeping on warning my diaspora brothers and sisters. If you want to live in Africa, you're going to have to do some preparation, lots of preparation, because when the African find himself in a position where he was in, well, just like our forefathers, the Caucasian came to Africa. African find himself in a position, African kings said, you know what? We're going to have to go along with this program. How many millions of Africans are sold into slavery then? People think that it can't be repeated, but I'm warning you, 2063 is not guaranteed. I've said it over and over and over. The last couple of videos I made shows you, if you watch the videos of African talking, shows you the level of intellect that you're dealing with. And when I say intellect, I mean intellect. Because a man knows that he has to plant a garden to live, but he refused to plant the garden, will lie to you and say, why are you telling me to plant a garden when I can get food free from the Caucasian? You see, that intellect, he knows what he's supposed to do, but refused to do it, you know. And you see what happened in Rwanda. You saw what happened in Rwanda. You see what's happening in Congo. You see what's happening now in Sudan. In places in South Africa, there are places where black South Africans cannot go. Israelis trained a people in South Cape, build a city, create their own language and culture. Africans, black Africans can't go there. I hope you're preparing yourself for what's about to happen. Peace.